Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, so I was downstairs this afternoon. I was watching Sterling and Linda's Sunday broadcast, and they discussed the January 6th insurrection. And Linda was asking Sterling about Mike Pence, and was it part of the plan of January 6th to hang Mike Pence? In Sterling's answer, he paused and he thought about it. He said, no, that was just kind of an afterthought. It was like an opportunity type thing, dealing with, 45 and his angry tweets and such. Now, I'm a total fanboy of Sterling. I've had a reading with Sterling. It was great. He's expensive, and he's got more expensive over the years, but he answers questions as quickly as you hear him on the show. So a 30-minute reading with Sterling, you can get lots of questions answered. Just saying. When I do watch the show, though, I always try to answer the question before Sterling does. Now, I come up typically with qualitative yes-no answers, and I find that my answers do mimic his very closely. The difference is that he provides a lot more information than I do. Were they going to hang Mike Pence? Was that on purpose? My answer was no. And I thought it was, kind of a spur of the moment thing. And that's what Sterling said. But, all I have time to say is no. And then later I can think, oh, yeah, as a spur of the moment thing, that makes sense. Okay, but I'm going to throw on that one. And I had this question come up on my community page about that. So I'll follow it up. And the person that brought up the question was asking, but they had a gallows and it looked like it was well built. I mean, who brings a gallows to a Trump rally, and then brings it to the White House? Why would they do that? Is that purely a prop, or was there a thought of hanging people? And I think what's happening with that is it wasn't Mike Pence specific. What they really wanted was Nancy Pelosi or AOC or somebody along those lines. They wanted to basically assassinate a Democratic leader or a very visible Democratic person. And the Mike Pence thing, I think, is just something that happened because he wasn't sufficiently loyal. Entertainment purposes only. Okay, but let's find out. That gallows that they resurrected, was that planned? And if so, for who? Death card. Yeah, it was planned. It was absolutely planned. And I think in this case, the death card means exactly that. They wanted to execute somebody. So that's telling me it was planned. I mean, you could say symbolism, a gallows would represent death and the end of things. And that's all fine and good. But you're bringing it to the freaking Capitol during an insurrection. There's got to be a lot more planning involved in that. I think they absolutely intended on murdering members of Congress. Crossed with the Five of Pentacles, people left out in the cold. Okay, sorry, the long pauses here. Usually when I think of people left out in the cold, I think of the MAGA members being left, feeling like they're left out and they're not part of the collective. But that's not what this is. This is taking the stained glass window that the Pentacles are on. That's like a big government institution. These people are feeling helpless, but they could go inside and get help from this big government institution. But they have to seek it out. The government institution isn't going to offer it, but they can do it on their own. What I see happening here is two things. One, this is like the Mike Pence being left out in the cold. Donald Trump decided to kick Mike Pence out of the Cool Kids Club, and now Mike Pence becomes a target. But I think the other thing is that it's like these two people were kicked out of this institution. So picture, Mike Pence being one person and Nancy Pelosi being the other. They went in there, I think, wanting to pull her out of the Capitol building for that gallows. Again, entertainment purposes only. I have no insight. I have no evidence to prove this. This is just me interpreting cards and looking at the day's events. But yeah, definitely plan to kill somebody, and definitely wanting to take people out of this secure building and isolating them and unaliving them. Underneath it is the Empress. This, again, going after a woman. This is why I'm saying it's like Nancy Pelosi or AOC. They were going after somebody, and they wanted to go after women. It could be two women here. This could have been Pelosi and AOC. And again, I think Mike Pence I do agree. Mike Pence was an afterthought. Again, his insufficient loyalty would be the reason why he got dumped into that. In the past, we have the Hermit card. By the way, we've got 3 out of 4 major arcana already. The person who built this in secret. This is kind of like one of those, Proud Boys or militia groups or something along those lines. But it might have been like a lone wolfy type thing. I tend to think, though, that if you're building a gallows and you want to hang people, you've got to work in a group. So it's stuff that was going on behind the scenes. And I don't recall ever seeing anything in the court cases about arresting the person with the gallows or anything to do with that person. Like, did they question that person and get information? I haven't heard anything about that. I wonder. Current situation. 4 swords. So the question is, were they purposely targeting Mike Pence, or was that just an accident? I think that they definitely wanted to unalive people in this one. And again, it was meditated or premeditated. They were planning on doing this. Again, I don't think Mike Pence was part of that, because Mike Pence was supposed to throw the election back to the states, and he didn't do that. So I think Mike Pence became an opportunity to join the 2 people that they were going for. Mike Pence would be the 3rd person that they would go for on that one. And there could have been a 4th if they could have gotten a 4th. There was planning. This was planned. Somebody had to have the foresight to build and bring this just in case. And again, I think Mike Pence was just an opportunity. There we go again. Page of Pentacles. Now, I've just in a recent reading, this card, I swear to God, has come up in every reading I've done, especially political readings, for like the past 5, 7, 8 political readings. And I think I've finally understood what this card is. This is the election. This is what I'm terming as my election lies card, because it tends to come up with Trump with regard to election lies. So I think this is Trump feeding election lies to his base and firing them up. This whole thing started because Trump said that the election was stolen. And because he said the election was stolen, people started planning on unaliving members of Congress who they perceived as the enemy. And they were going to do it. They absolutely planned on doing it at that time. And they wanted multiple people. Outcome, 8 of Swords. They didn't get anybody, but they sure as heck wanted him. And they absolutely would have taken Mike Pence. Absolutely would have taken Mike Pence. He would have been an attack of opportunity that they would have taken. But they were going after women. They were going after women on this one. So, now we can argue Mike Pence masculinity, sexuality, effeminacy, whatever. But yeah, I don't think he was a target. I can see AOC being a target. I could see Nancy Pelosi being a target because, talk about 2 people that just absolutely trigger the MAGA and the alt-rights and the oath keepers and such. Those two women absolutely would do that. I would imagine if they could get Maxine Walters, they would go after her too, because she's not afraid about speaking her mind. Okay. How does Mike Pence feel about those Gallows, and now that he's running for president, and knowing that he's trying to court that MAGA base, and they were the very same people who were trying to hang him? You know, how does he even reconcile that? I don't know. I wouldn't want to be courting them. Screw those people. Not that he's got a chance in hell of being the president, but you know, a little self-esteem there, pal. Ace of Wands. Well, he's got his mind made up what he's going to do, and he's going to go forward doing it. Election lies. Here we go again. You got the election lies. There's that planning where he was a target of opportunity. King of Swords. He's trying to... I think he's trying to offer almost like a peace offering, but it's, you know, it's funny. It's a stick peace offering. It's a peace offering by beating you senseless with a stick. He knows they don't like him, but he knows that he needs them in order to get elected. He won't deny the election lies too strongly because he wants their support. But at the same time, there's court cases, and he's willing to testify in these court cases about what happened. So ultimately, he's trying to thread the needle of being a leader while courting these folks. Honestly, I think if he could leave them behind, he would. He understands he can't. So he makes the political decision to have strange bedfellows with people who would just as happily have seen him hung from the neck until he was dead. I don't get it. But you know what? I'm not Mike Pence. I'm not running for the president. I don't know what drives that man. But, you know, whatever. But thank you. Thank you for watching this video, and thank you for supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you for feeding the YouTube algorithm beast with your likes and your shares and your comments. Welcome to the new subscribers. Glad you found me. Hope you're finding these readings insightful and entertaining, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.